I guess, a good journey, a good story, a good, like, like if I'm not getting into the movie and like feeling the movie, then it's kind of just entertainment, not really a part of my life, I guess.
Something's great when it kind of reflects upon your soul, and that's what it's all about. It's not about what it is, it's more about what it makes you think it is.
But I like movies that challenge you and make you think. I guess that'd be the biggest criteria. And I think
and that
she
I
doesn't
like movies that
make
make me feel good.
So I guess what I'm looking for is something that I can almost remember and be like, oh, that was a great part of my life, instead of like, oh, I went to watch a show.
In fact, I look for an experience that I can just kind of walk away from afterwards. But for me, it's more about the quality of a movie, and if it has enough realism that I can suspend my disbelief and immerse myself in it.
Internal plot consistency. I hate plot holes, especially glaring plot holes, where one line of dialogue could have saved the entire script.
But I mean, everything that happened in that movie, you could see it happening. Like, it seemed like something that would logically happen,
It's so sinister and so just dark and foreboding, and it gives me chills and goosebumps every time I see it.
Seeing that movie made me want to teach. I was like, 13 or 14 at the time, and like I saw this movie and I was like, oh my God, there is such like a dynamic and significant and permanent difference that like an educator can make in the lives of people.
Something about I guess the characters and the story seems to back up my life philosophy.
It just makes me feel good. I like the dancing and the singing.
Other ones, I just love the whole movie, the way it looks and feels like it's so visual, and you're just like, whoa. So yeah.
These different kind of sick, twisted love stories that sort of cross together at this car accident, and then all of the stories all have dogs involved.
To watch it, to go into the theaters and not know what it was, and to watch it, it was very, it was visceral. It was like it was tugging you around, like, you didn't know what to expect. And it was also because I didn't know what I was seeing, and
I love the mystery of it, because for so long you just didn't know, but you thought you did, but you didn't. And then the way they built it up and everything, all the little scenes put together, and finally in the end, how it just all melded into this awesome ending.
It has quintessentially everything that is involved in a movie for dynamic character twists, plot turns, revenge. It ends on a somber note, allowing for retribution.
I think I started watching, it was the first movie I remember watching all the way through when I was like 7 or 8, and I remember just thinking it was the funniest thing that I had ever seen.
I watched when I was really little because my dad and my older brother watched it, so I just watched whatever they watched, and I didn't really watch what my mom watched, which was like really like Jane Austen stuff.
If it ever came on TV and I sat down, I'd have to watch it.
That's the real test. You never get tired of watching it.
Just like, I was crying at the end the first time I saw it. It's one of the few movies I've ever cried at.
We went to see Love Story, and every woman in the theater was crying.
the first half hour blew me fucking away. It was something I guess I didn't suspect. It was just, and on a huge screen with the sound, it's a hackneyed movie in many ways, but that blew me a fucking way.
I'm trying to get to the point where I'm done with movie theaters, because I don't enjoy the whole experience anymore. I used to when I was younger.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, well, part of the thing was I came from a smaller area where we didn't really have the amount of obnoxious people that would be doing dumb stuff. We actually shut up and watched the movie.
Yeah. My parents sent us to the movies every Sunday. And it would cost my oldest sister $25 25 cents to get in. the other four of us each got in for a dime. And popcorn was a dime and Coke was a nickel. So I got popcorn.
We're coming in right when it starts. She's sitting there, and I sit down, take my coat off, look at her. She's still there in the coach half off. She can't take her eyes off the screen to take her coat off.
That's because they got there late.
When I went with this girl I was with, and we didn't know what we were seeing. We just, for some reason, we just stumbled into this movie, and we watched it. And it was almost like a punch in the stomach. You know, it was like, what's this? Like, oh, it was just saying to you, okay, here's a movie, take it.
Because of the concise beauty and exactitude of the statement and the way it was illustrated.
I guess the thing that was so wonderful about the story and the movie was that the traveler isn't on a mission. He's not trying to save the world. He's not, trying to save a long lost love or anything. He's just a man of science. He was curious. He wanted to know.
Kind of like a takeoff on some of the other movies at the time where you had these giant sea creatures, but all it was just giant pictures of fish, and they were attacking this sub, and it was the stupidest thing I ever saw in my life. I mean, it wasn't really, they didn't even make any creatures, they were just like big pictures of fish.
Your father and I actually got up and left that movie. That's how bad it was.
Remember what the motto for the movie was?
She turned her lovers into lampshades.
Right.
And why did we choose to go see that?
I thought it was a World War II movie.
Oh, it was awful. I felt like it was really slow and ponderous and it had no point and was just like a big artistic jerk off. I mean, I felt like I was watching, something that wanted to have a point and was striving for it, and it never reached that climax.
Just because I think the whole cast of actors just worked so well, and the music was just so artistic, and it was just so, it just like ripped your emotions apart at every angle, and it's just, it was a lifetime in a movie. It's just like,
And God, I mean, if that isn't, powerful, what the hell is?